Everybody who's in the meeting. Today we have with us Professor Dr. Kausar Abdullah Malik Saab. Sir is a distinguished national professor by the Higher Education Commission of Pakistan, and he has been awarded 3 prestigious civil awards by the Government of Pakistan at 3 different occasions, including Hilal Imtiaz, Itara Imtiaz, and Tamga Imtiaz. Sir has played a key role in establishing the country's well-known research institution, National Institute of Biotechnology and Genetic Engineering, which is known as NIBG. Generally, Sir has been the Director General of NIBG for some time. He's been the Chairman of PARC, and then he's a member of the Planning Commission. At the moment, Sir is working as a Dean at the Foreman Christian College, University, Lahore. He's also a member of Pakistan Academy of Sciences, and he is one of the leading scientists and technologists, which is appointed by the Government of Pakistan to the Pakistan Council for Science and Technology. Sir, thank you so very much. It's such an absolute honor for us to that you have agreed to give us a talk. Sir will be talking about biotechnology for achieving sustainable development goals. So, sir, please, over to you.
Thank you, Ramla. I hope all of you can hear me. Yes?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes, yeah, okay. No? Because yes, there were some people in the chat box saying that they can't hear any sound or anything.
I guess, sir, because we were muted at that time, but I think I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I would like to thank the organizers and especially Dr. Habib Bukhari for organizing this activity and inviting me to give a talk. I had chosen the Sustainable Developmental Goals as a topic of my talk because these are extremely important as far as our development is concerned, are related to environment, related to climate change and everything, you see. And biotechnology plays a very important role in mitigating many of these or achieving many of these goals, you see. So I will try to explain to you these SDGs and then a little bit about biotechnology, how it came about, and what are its impacts on the different sustainable developmental goals, you see. So before I begin all that, I want to show you the actual biotechnology tools, sustainable developmental goals, you see. And I'm sure that most of you must be aware of all these. These are follow-up of our Millennium Developmental Goals, which were 8 in number, and these were to be achieved by 2015. But as it always happens, that majority of the countries were not able to achieve all those goals. And then the United Nations decided on these new goals, you see, and these are 17 in number, and these cover virtually every area of human activity, you see. And these are supposed to be achieved by year 2030. You see, let's hope. It's only about 7 years to go. So let's hope that we can achieve at least some of them, or if not all of them, you see. So, and in all these areas, the whole science plays a very important role, you see. You know, I will try to explain that. And because all these goals are related to some kind of either biotechnological interventions or scientific interventions. So without the developing science and technology, we will not be able to achieve any of these goals, you see. So and before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about biotechnology. I'm sure for those people who are from other background, they would be interested to know that what biotechnology actually is, you see. As we normally define it, it is the use of biological processes and to solve problems or make useful products, you see. For the oldest biotechnology that we think about is the production of yogurt, you see, for dahi jo hai, and also in beverages, beer has been one of, or fermented juices, fermented drinks had been one of the oldest use of biotechnology, that is using different microorganisms, using biological processes. We have been able to develop something for human consumption. But with the advent of all these discoveries in 20th century, we were able to develop a new biotechnology, and that is based on the use of cellular and molecular processes to solve problems or make products, you see. So this is, I will, as I go along, you will be able to understand that why it is so important and why it is so kind of revolutionary, you see. And if I could show you, these are some of the people who contributed to the development of life sciences in 20th century, starting from Mendel to Watson and Crick, you see, who were the inventors, or who elucidated for the first time the structure of DNA, along with the Morris, Wilkins, and others, you see. Okay. And they had whatever they had decided was on DNA, which is our magic molecule, and that molecule was deciphered by Watson and Crick, you see. And this is this structure of DNA that they had first elucidated, and using the X-ray diffraction methods, they were able to see that where all these components of DNA are attached, you see. And then this was the beginning of a revolution, you see, and that helped us to understand how the genetic material functions, how the genes are transferred, and how all this happens. And this was further demonstrated by, hello, is there something wrong? Shall I continue? All right, you know, all this DNA was to be subjected to very powerful techniques, you see, and these form the basis of new biotechnology. And some of these powerful techniques related to restriction enzymes, these were enzymes which are able to cut the DNA at a very specific sites, or a very known specific sites, you see. And this was an area for cutting. And then we had developed different enzymes which were related to joining of these cut DNA, you see. This was for ligation. And then you are now aware of PCR, which was very popular name at the time of COVID. And that was a technique which was responsible for gene amplification, or it could amplify a segment of the gene many times over, you see. And then with all these technologies of sequencing the gene, the DNA, and we were able to completely sequence the human genome, you see, well above time, you see, you know. So this was all because of the development of new tools which were which were available, and therefore before the expected time of completion of human genome, we were able to do that, you see. And that was again a big achievement, you see. And in order to explain to you in a very simple term that what is the edge and why we call it the ocean, that is because we were able to cut a gene at a specific place with the help of restriction enzymes, and this is being cut, and then this is then transported through a vector, which is another bacterium or any other transporting material that can be then inserted into another plant or animal cell or anywhere, you see. So this is one of the biggest revolution, that we could then now manipulate the genetic material of living beings, of a bacterium or of a fungus or of an insect or of animal or of human beings, you see. These were all amenable to manipulation, you see. So that's why we say that the evolution of the 20th century, which has passed on to the 21st century, is actually mind-boggling, you see. You know, if you imagine that earlier on, it was not possible. For example, in agriculture also, in the case of plant breeding, it was not possible to cross two unrelated species, you see. So now it is possible to manipulate the genes from anywhere and bring them to anywhere. See, so for example, the well-known examples that you might be aware of are, first is the insulin. You know, the insulin that is being used nowadays as humaline is produced by a human gene which has been isolated from the pancreas and then inserted into a bacterium, which is Escherichia coli, which is a soil bacterium actually, and that bacterium multiplies in the fermenter, and from there we extract the insulin. You see, so this is in a simple form. You know, it has the same properties as the human insulin has. You see, so and the other example that you are nowadays in agriculture, we keep talking about the BT cotton or BT something, BT soybean, BT sugarcane. You know, BT is the name of a bacterium, Bacillus thuringiensis. That bacterium produces a toxin, and that gene for that toxin has been transformed or has been moved to any plant, you know, and it imparts the protection from certain insect pests, you see. So this is virtually a evolution, and in the same manner you can have different genes which you can manipulate by different methods, you see. And another simple form, as in a simple way, that this is a gene source. It can be from anywhere, and you have identified a gene here, and that gene is transported by a vector, which can be another bacterium or even by through electroporation or, you know, other methods. You can transform it into a plant cell, or this can be an animal cell, you see. You know, and so this is all because the technology is available to us. You see, different tools, different enzymes, different products which help us to cut this and to ligate this, to again join them, are available to us, you see. So that's why we are able to do that, you see. Then we have in the 21st century, this is actually mind-boggling, I believe you me. You know, we have now next generation sequencing. These are the methods. Earlier methods of which we call a Sanger sequencing was very slow, you see, and then you had to spend a lot of time in order to complete the sequencing. Sequencing means that the DNA has all these nucleotides, and then you have to see the arrangements of these nucleotides, you see, and that is the basis of different genes. That is the basis of different phenotypes, you see. And with the advent of this that we call the next generation sequencing, which is very fast now, I mean, using different methodologies of sonication and all that, and that has helped us to sequence large number of living organisms, large number of plants, microbes, etc. You see, and that has given rise to a totally independent discipline of genomics. You see, that is, the genome is the total genetic composition of an organism, and that we call genomics. And then proteins, also proteomics and transcriptomics and metabolomics. That is an era of omics now, you see, you know, and that is being helped by a very strong and powerful data analytics. And that is the basis of the nowadays artificial intelligence, you see, So without this data analytics, I mean, none of our activities in sequencing will be of any use, you see. And this has allowed us to go for all different things, you see. We can have a personalized medication, personalized therapies, and all that is possible. All the diagnostics is possible. Gene therapy, stem cell research is another very important area whereby you can now, it is virtually now not a fiction anymore, that you can order an organ or anything if you can identify the stem cells of those particular organ, and you can grow those in an artificial medium and under an artificial environment, and you can make different organs also. The same holds true for, as you must have read in the papers about artificial meat, you see, and that meat is also produced in the same manner, you see. And its applications are all over, not only in health or medical, they are most applicable in agriculture and food, etc. You see, I will try to explain that a little bit in relation to the Sustainable Developmental Goals. Then we have its biotechnology's role in industry, in environment, and then nanotechnology is another upcoming area which has revolutionized the way we use the drug discovery, drug delivery, actually, and other areas, you see. And so biotechnology products, if you could just imagine what are the areas, you see. They have a role in diagnostics. That is, I mean, all this, especially at the time of COVID, you all have come to know about PCR, about RT-PCR, about all that, and that is all based on biotechnology, based on molecular biology, based on all the information that we have about the virus, and based on that information, we develop different diagnostic tools, you see, and then that's where things happen, you see. And then vaccines are another important area. And there again, this COVID area has been a time of also inventions, and also, I mean, making us aware of different aspects of technology, you see. And many of these vaccines were all, some are of messenger RNA based vaccines, and and all these vaccines were related to some form of antigen, or which is derived from the molecular characterization of the virus, you see. Then it has got a lot of role in pharmaceuticals and biologicals. For example, interferon has been one very popular product of biotechnology. Similarly, all the transpinogens, or there are about 50 different biologicals that we call, which are a product of recombinant DNA technology, you see. And then this is the most important area, you see, of biotechnology, you see. Then we have biofuels and bioenergy, you see, all the second generation bioenergy. That is, if we are using the biomass. Biomass is the any plant material which is as a result of photosynthesis is growing in any land, can be converted into sugars, and the sugars can be converted into alcohol or into ethane gas, you see. So this is basically the method of conversion of this biomass into energy, you see. And then we have growth hormones, one of the oldest biotechnology products, you see, which was for growth hormones. And then there are a number of transgenic crops which have come into the field, and it is increasing day by day. And we have large millions of acres of area which is now under transgenic crops, and I will explain to you while explaining the Sustainable Development Goals, their importance. Similar is the transgenic animals. You see that to increase the milk production or the meat production, or to make them more useful, we can resort to different biotechnological approaches. And then there's a very, very important area of biofertilizers and biopesticides. One of the largest consumer of energy are the chemical fertilizer industry. You see, you just keep in mind that the fertilizer, especially nitrogenous fertilizers, for example, urea or ammonium sulfate, or all these are produced by an immense input of energy in the form of, they are produced at a temperature of 500 degrees Celsius and 200 atmosphere in order to combine nitrogen and hydrogen to form ammonia. The nitrogen obviously comes from the air, and hydrogen comes from methane gas, you see, which is our sui gas, or our household gas. You see, that is supplied. I mean, we don't get the gas, but all these chemical industries, they keep getting this gas, and they use that gas for hydrogen purposes. That hydrogen, the methane gas is CH4. They get hydrogen from methane and the nitrogen from air, and under high temperatures of 500 degrees Celsius and 200 atmosphere of pressure, these two are combined to form ammonia. So now you imagine the kind of energy that goes into this, and the product that we get is urea eventually, and which again goes into the soil, and it is again converted into ammonia by different microbes, and under optimum agronomic conditions, only 30 to 40% of that nitrogen is being utilized by the plants. Other is either leached down in the soil or is evaporated in the form of ammonia. So this is most wasteful activity on which we have, and then there biotechnology can play a very, very significant role by development of different biofertilizers and biopesticides. You see, that I will try to explain a bit later. Okay, so another area that you should, as an intellectual, as an educated people, you must know is food security. You see, we all talk about food security, but we should know what food security is. You see, and what is food security? Here it is. Food security exists when all people at all times have a nutritious and safe food that meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. Recently the UNICEF and I think Arakan University have done they do the surveys after 5 years, and they have found that nearly 50% of our population is food insecure. And that food insecure is on the basis that if you use this definition, that the people who are getting food must have a nutritious and safe food. You see, our food that is consumed is sometimes not nutritious and sometimes is not safe. You see, and therefore we cannot call them that it meets their nutrition, it meets their dietary needs. You see, for a healthy lifestyle. You see, अगर आप एक रोटी हर एक को दे रहे हैं और साथ एक कोई प्याज दे दें, कोई कुछ और दे दें, और वो अपना रोटी खा के पेट भर ले, that is not food security. You see, that does not counted under food security. So you have to meet the nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and for an active and healthy life. This is the key factor. You see. And as we all say that everyone has the right to adequate food in a quantity and quality sufficient to satisfy their dietary needs. One of the key challenges going forward is to shine a light on food quality to address hidden hunger. Hidden hunger is another term which generally describes the deficiency of certain microelements in our diet, you see. And those microelements are essentially iron and zinc and vitamins and iodine, So these are the elements which are deficient, and by that deficiency, you are overall you look okay, but it is your dietary needs are not being met, you see, and therefore it is termed as hidden hunger, and that is why some of the things like stunting and these occur, you see, and these affect our mental capacity also, you see, and according to one study, that our IQ levels generally are declining, you see, and that is probably due to the deficiencies of these areas, deficiencies, these elements, you see. And these food security has very important three pillars, you see. So one is availability, then it is accessibility, then affordability. The food must be available and it must be accessible. अगर वो अगर मार्केट्स में आता ही नहीं है तो वो इट इज नॉट accessible. और अगर हमें इतनी ताकत नहीं है कि हम वो जाके इतनी महंगाई में खरीद सकें, so that is not affordable then, you see. So all these three are extremely important. A's, I call them: availability, accessibility, and affordability. These have to be met in order to completely say that we are food secure. Okay, let me come back to the Sustainable Developmental Goals, and here they are. You see. These are 17 goals, and out of 17, about 6 or 7 I have discussed, but these are more relevant. Others, as far as science is concerned, this is all these goals, but I will be talking about some of them, you see, only. And as it says that biotechnology plays a significant role in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals outlined by the United Nations. It offers innovative solutions across various sectors to address complex global challenges and promote sustainable development goals. And here is how the biotechnology contributes to specific sustainable developmental goals. And goal number 1 is no poverty, that to get rid of poverty. According to the World Bank report, agriculture is the main tool for poverty alleviation. If we could strengthen and we could support our agriculture, we are definitely going to alleviate poverty in the rural areas, you see. So the biotechnology can do immensely in this particular area because it can enhance agricultural productivity by developing genetically engineered crops that are resistant to pests, diseases, and environmental stress. This can increase crop yields, improve food security, and raise the income of small-scale farmers, you see. So this is, the big point is that small-scale farmers, these are, according to our estimates, there are about 89% farms which are small farms. And by small farms, I mean farms of 5 hectares or less, you see, So those farms are not economically viable, you see. So either we have to do some kind of a social mobilization to collectivize these farms and cultivate the land on a modern footing, or we have to develop some mechanism to supply or to have all the technologies come to the doorsteps of these small-scale farmers, you see. So and that will help in alleviating a lot of poverty, you see. Same is true in the case of livestock, you see, because livestock, every farmer has about 2 to 4 animals, you see, or 2 to 4 milk animals, you see. So they can sell some part of the milk and then have the other part for their own family, and that is a kind of a important factor for keeping them alive and keeping them healthy, you see. And then, but these changing circumstances have also affected that phenomena as well, you see. The number two is again, these are both these number 1 and 2, poverty and zero hunger are similar, you see, because biotechnology helps develop drought-resistant and nutrient-rich crops such as biofortified crops with increased vitamin and mineral contents. This can improve the nutritional quality of food, reduce malnutrition, and enhance agricultural efficiency. This zero hunger is a concept that was developed in Brazil, and because the Brazilian person became the head of FAO for a couple of years, and he was instrumental in introducing these zero hunger projects in different countries, and that amounted to having all these crops or animals or livestock, you see, in a way that it can meet the nutritional requirements of the people. You might have heard about we are trying to fortify our atta with iron and other elements, you see, that is so that we can meet the iron deficiency. This is only possible if the atta comes from a very mechanized mill, flour mill, and that mill has a device for homogenizing that element into the whole of atta, you see, but that kind of atta is not available to the people in the rural area, because there they don't eat atta from any mill. They have their own chakkis and and their own mechanism to make atta for their own purposes, you see. So therefore, we had thought that we must develop wheat or any staple diet to increase the content of these elements like iron and zinc and vitamins, etc., so that they eat those kind of crops which inherently have higher content of those elements, you see, and which are bioavailable to them, bioavailable to their body. And so we had tried to make different crops, and I will try to show you those. Well, these are about biotechnology to good health and well-being, you see, contributes to medical advancements through the development of personalized medicine, gene therapies, and vaccines. It also aids the discovery of new drugs and treatments for diseases, including those prevalent in developing countries. You see, so this is a very important area. And here, biotechnology, as I earlier said, with the advent of all these next generation sequencing techniques, of developing genomics, of developing, the whole genome information is available. And based on that, you can determine that this person is going to have these kind of diseases or amenable to such diseases. And you can, that is the basis of the personalized medicine and different gene therapies and development of vaccine. Vaccine is the most cheapest and the most important device to overcome all these diseases, you see, but unfortunately, vaccine here in Pakistan, 99% of the vaccines are imported, and then so we would like to have an industry and private sector who makes vaccines locally, you see, so that I hope one day we will have that in the country as well. It also aids in the discovery of new drugs and treatment for diseases, including those prevalent in developing countries, you see. So this is, this area is one of the most important area in which biotechnology can be helpful, you see. And as I was saying, that we have biofortified crop varieties, the least or in testing by different countries. And this is a biofortified crop means that you are introducing an element or like iron or zinc, like vitamin. One of the most well-known and talked about is the golden rice. You see, it was developed by a scientist in Switzerland, and it was handed over to the International Rice Research Institute in Philippines, and they then distributed to different countries, and that uh, is an enhanced level of vitamin A in that. And as you know, vitamin A deficiency is the cause of blindness. You see, and there is, incidence of blindness, especially in the Southeast Asia, where people eat a lot of rice. There, they have this incidence of blindness, and we hope with the introduction of these golden rice, we will be able to overcome that. You see, the same example is which is a fortification actually, that we had introduced many years back, iodized salt. You see, and that was to overcome a particular disease of goiter, which was rampant, especially in the northern areas in Gilgit-Baltistan area. You know, their population had big lumps of goiter. You know, and by the continuous use of iodized salts, that has been overcome. You see, so this is a big achievement. You see that we have been able to do that, and similarly, we have now introduced several of the varieties which are high in different vitamins, also of vitamin B6 and other omega-3, for example, and other antioxidants also. So this is an area which is very well now coming up in Pakistan, and we hope that in coming few years we will have all these varieties commercially released for cultivation and for use by our population. This is goal number 6. It says that clean water and sanitation. You see, you know, this biotechnology contributes to the development of efficient and cost-effective methods for water treatment, pollution control, and wastewater management, helping to ensure access to clean water resources. You see, this is most important area, that the waste treatment, especially, I come from Lahore, and Lahore has got about 13 drains which go straight into the river Ravi, you see, without any treatment, you see, you know. So the Ravi has been converted into a big wastewater drain now, and it is a very important that we treat that sewage water before being dumped into the main channels. And there, biotechnology again has a lot of role, because if we can identify different microorganisms which can do the job, which can degrade the organic pollutants, or which can accumulate the metals there and remove them, this will be a big help, you see. Okay. Now, the energy part, you see. Okay. The biotechnology can be used to produce biofuels and biogas from organic waste, contributing to the renewable energy sources and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. You see, so this is a technology which is there, but not being unfortunately used. There are so many things which we can discuss, that why it is happening and who is to be blamed. But anyway, you should know that biotechnology can do this job. Okay, everything okay? Biotechnology can be used to produce biofuels and biogas from organic waste, contributing to renewable energy sources and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So this is another very important area where biotechnology is uh, is being used, you see, and it can be effectively used actually. Climate action. This is again a very climate change is nowadays is the talk of the town, and everybody talks about climate change, and whatever is happening, everything is to be blamed to climate change, you know. And then here also biotechnology contributes to climate action by developing carbon capture technologies, bio-based alternatives to fossil fuels, and methods for enhancing carbon sequestration in natural ecosystems. You know, as I was talking to you about fertilizers, you see, and I told you about the kind of energy which is going on into making of chemical fertilizers, you see, and you just imagine that if we can reduce the consumption of fertilizer by, say, even 20% or 30%, how immense energy can be saved, you see. So that's why we have been arguing that we should encourage the use of biofertilizers and also encourage the judicious use of chemical fertilizers and not apply wastefully the way we apply chemical fertilizers to our fields now at the moment, you see. So that is most wasteful, and you just keep thinking in terms of energy use, that how much energy is spent on the manufacture of these chemical fertilizers, you see. And these chemical, I mean, I will further explain. I think I had a slide which shows the approaches for climate smart agriculture at FCCU. You see, you know, we have been working especially using wheat as a candidate, because wheat is our staple diet and wheat is our food security crop as well. You see, you know, once the wheat shortage is there, everybody is panicky, you see, because this is, I mean, roti to har ek ne khani hai, you see, you know, to isliye gandum ki availability is most important, you see, you know. So here, for this, I have, as we were talking about the biofortified wheat, we have already developed wheat with increased bioavailability of iron and zinc, and this has been done by incorporating an enzyme from fungal phytase. Phytase is an enzyme which degrades phytates, and phytates are the one which chelate different elements like iron and zinc. See, so if you degrade them, those iron and zinc will be released and will be available for human consumption, you see. Then we have also produced high nitrogen use efficiency wheat, you see, because as I said that the fertilizer that we use, only 30 to 40% is taken up by the plant. The rest goes, I mean, rest is lost either to the soil or to the environment, you see. So if we can increase the fertilizer use efficiency, it will be an immense help, you see. Then another is that for drought tolerance, you see, and we have introduced different genes, transcription factors, etc., which can increase the drought tolerance under water scarcity. And then we have also different transcription factors for incorporated in maize and cotton to express several heat shock protein. You see, because as a result of climate change, we should have heat tolerance in majority of our crops, you see, and because at the time of the harvest or the time, I mean, there is an increased temperature which is not normal, and then therefore the plants have to withstand that high temperatures in order to survive, you see, you know. So if any crop which has built-in heat tolerance will be more successful, you see. And then we have introduce some transcription factors for overexpression of transgenics of wheat, and for increasing the wheat yield by 10 to 20%. You see, so all these are activities which we think will help. The other environmental related activities are development of biodegradable packaging material from bacteria capable of producing polyhydroxybutirates. This is another very novel approach. And then we have been working on microbial diversity of Hodiara train. Hodiara train comes from India, from Amritsar side, and enters Lahore, and is also has a mixture of industrial effluent and domestic effluent, and is notorious for its it's very high CODs and POD, and they're trying to study. Hello, can you hear me now? Hello.
Dr. Saab, we can hear you.
Shanila, can you hear me?
Ji, sir, we can hear you loud and clear. Please.
Shanila, can you hear me?
Kausar Saab, we can hear you. Ms. Ramla, can you please check with Dr. Saab? I can see his lips moving, but I
Hello,
guess
can you hear me? Please let me know. Ramla?
Yes, we can hear you.
Everybody is listening you. No.
Hello?
Hello, Dr. Saab.
Hello?
Sir, we are hearing you.
Okay, thank you.
अरे हाँ तुम्हें दवा देने नहीं आ रही.
Okay, as I was saying, that there are other, we are also doing work on the groundwater treatment technology for safe drinking water supply and trying to eliminate arsenic from our underground water in collaboration with the South Korean university, you see. Coming back to the sustainable developmental goals, there is a goal on life below water, and there also biotechnology aids in the conservation and restoration of marine ecosystem through technologies for monitoring, pollution control, and the development of sustainable aquaculture practices, you see. And these are all very important. And then life on land is also one of the goals. And this is biotechnology supports biodiversity conservation by providing tools for habitat restoration, species preservation, and sustainable land management, you see. So these are all areas which, we can use biotechnology for, you see. Well, in summary then, this is my last slide, and biotechnology plays a crucial role in advancing multiple solutions, sustainable development goals by offering innovative solutions that promote economic growth, environmental sustainability, and social well-being. Its potential to address complex challenges makes it a valuable tool in achieving a more sustainable and equitable future. And I hope we are able to achieve all this, and that comes to the end of my talk. And I thank you all for your attention, for your participation. And if there are any questions which I may be able to answer, there are still 5 minutes to 4, so I will be able to answer those.
I have a question, if that's okay.
Yes,
So first up, thank you so much, Dr. Kausar. It was a very
any questions?
yes. It was a very good talk. Thank you so much. Food security is really important in Pakistan, especially. And it's good that work is happening. But in terms of infrastructure in Pakistan to support this research, what are the key gaps? And how can we address those gaps in terms of what we need to do to support this research?
Okay, if there are no more questions, let me thank you all for your attention and for your participation. And
Ms. Ramla, I guess Dr.
she,
Saab, your
Shanida Mazhar.
last question. Can you please look into that?
ये कहाँ से आ रहा है? ये उसके आगे वो साइड पे ये वो आवाज नहीं आ रही है तो कौन है यहाँ? तुम्हारे उधर आ रहा है? नहीं आप इस पे करो आवाज आ रही है? उनकी आवाज आ रही है? नहीं क्या इधर
Dr. Saab,
fail to detect your
हमारी तरफ से?
speaker.
Hello.
ये इसका तो नहीं
Dr.
कुछ,
Saab,
इसको उतार दूं? बताते सभी काम कर Hello, can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me now?
Ms. Ramla, are
Hello,
you
can you hear me? Microphone same assist. Hello, can you hear me?
Sir, everyone can hear you, but I think there's some issue at your side for hearing. Because Farah has asked some question, but that I think you cannot listen that.
Hello, can you hear me now? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
ये कोई और ही तुम्हारा आ रहा होगा ना यार, इसलिए।
Hello, Dr. Sir, we can hear you. I guess you cannot hear us.
Okay, okay. I mean, I was only asking, are there any questions that I can answer?
Ji, Miss Farah asked a question. She asked about.
Miss Farah, can you type your question?
Miss Farah, if you can please type your question quickly. She was basically asking something related to the future of biotechnology, no, biofuel, I believe, and the infrastructure available in Pakistan. Is it supporting enough or not? Miss Farah, can you please type in your question?
Yes, so I am typing it in now.
Sure.
Right.
I
Ji,
hear
Dr.
the,
Sir.
what are the
Ji.
challenges in supporting research in biotechnology?
Sir, this is the question. Please, can you please address Ms. Farah's question?
Yeah, you see the challenges in
I'm so sorry,
biotechnology.
sir. We have again lost your voice. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry, please continue.
Can I speak now?
That was glitch on my end.
Okay. You see, I've been asked that what are the challenges for biotechnology for the support of biotechnology. Is that right? You see, the challenges are the same as for other science and technology, because sometimes the government is not so much interested in any kind of science or any kind of technology or any kind of education, you see. So these are the challenges that we have to face, and we keep on trying and making our governments understand that these are important areas, and without that they cannot make any development, you see, So, but I'm very hopeful and optimistic, you see, that we will be able to achieve lots of things. You see, the same thing in the same manner as we happened with the Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission. I had been their member, so I know that if there's a continuity of leadership, and if the political support is there, then you can achieve everything, you see. Thank you. Is there any other question?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I have another meeting at 4 on Zoom again. So I would like to thank you all. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and hope everything goes well. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the exciting talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.